Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning. Welcome to the Town of Portland Board of Education podcast, and we are live in the studio with our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Charles Britton, and it's a blustery Monday morning. Good morning, Charles.
Morning, David. Are you feeling a little tired today? We lost an hour of sleep last
I know,
weekend, right?
I know. My God, it's between that and retirement is figuring out what time it is, what day it is, and so
They'll
forth.
all blend together for you. But yeah, no, spring ahead. I thought there was talk about not having daylight savings time anymore. I don't know where that ever ended up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they actually do daylight savings time out in Texas and Nevada way. I'm not sure whether whatever, but yeah. I don't know. That popped up on Facebook a couple of times. Are we still doing daylight savings time and so forth?
Everybody's a little bleary-eyed today, kind of like what? But it's nice. Days are longer now.
Yes.
It was dark getting up this morning, but we'll have the sunlight until 6:30, 7 o'clock,
Yep.
which is great.
Exactly.
Spring sports.
There you go.
All the things that are going to be happening are it's finally time. I think we only have like 11 days of winter left, right? And then
Something like that. And spring
here.
is spring's eternal or something like that.
Yeah, or in like a lion, out like a lamb right now.
There you go. Well, that's it for sure. Yeah, we got March Madness coming up,
March
and,
Madness,
and
yep.
hopefully the Yukon girls and guys,
They look good.
Oh man, they look real good.
Oh man, they're good.
Fantastic. So anyway, so tell us what's happening in the system.
In
the district.
lot of great things. March in the life of any educator, as we all know, is a long month.
Yes, it is.
It's not broken up by much. Although I will say, I have to recognize some folks. Last Friday we had our PD day, so students had a long weekend, and we put all the teachers hard to work in the morning, learning new reading programs and doing all kinds of things.
Yep.
But in the afternoon, we did some things for our faculty called wellness activities.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And we let them do things just to kind of take care of themselves.
Yep.
But we had some people. Mike Pelton opened his studio and did some self-defense classes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I have to give a shout out to Cody Golf, who let us use their simulators. Core and Restore in town here did some hot yoga for our teachers.
Nice.
Just a good way to spend a Friday afternoon after long hard day of work. Just kind of get back to your sense of self and take care of
Rejuvenate.
yourself, physically rejuvenate. So to everybody who ran the wellness activities, and certainly Mike and Core and Restore and Cody Golf, thank you.
Awesome.
Great way to recognize teachers, give back a little. We appreciate that for sure.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's nice. That's a nice release.
For sure. And, March, it can be also a big time for our students. We have our spring musical coming up, March
Yes.
22nd, 23rd,
Yep.
Friday, Saturday. Get your tickets now.
Yes,
Great.
They are available online, I believe.
Absolutely. Get them right on the website. And even if you don't have kids in the show, great date night. Affordable date night, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So grab your significant others and kids and come on out to Matilda. It promises to be awesome. Our kids never fail to impress. March 25th, our juniors are taking the SAT, so that's a big day.
Big milestone.
Yep. Our seniors are all learning where they may be going next year. So acceptances are coming out. Otherwise, it's a great time of year. I literally just came from a 5th grade class at Brownstone to pop in here, and watching our teachers teach and our students learn every day, it's remarkable.
Yes.
We're in a really good place.
Well, I think we have an excellent staff. The
Excellent
teachers
staff,
are engaged, and I think just to compliment our excellent education system here in the town of Portland.
It's a great school district. I can't say enough about it. I've worked in a lot of different ones.
Yep.
This is a great place to be. There are so many positive things happening every day in the schools. It's not perfect, where there is no Lake Wobegon, but we're probably about as close as it gets.
Well, and surprisingly for the size district we are, and prime example of that is the high school. Okay, look at, the amount of participation in the high school musical. I think you've got, probably about 85% of the school is involved in that show one way or another, between show, tech, performers, musicians, and so forth. So it's an engaging school, and the students really step up and engage themselves and participate. So it's cool.
And the kids work hard. It amazes me how many activities our kids are in, and sports and things going on in the community, and everything. I don't say enough nice things about kids these days, but they work really hard. You
Yes.
know, and I see them. You know, they're up really early in the morning.
Sure.
Rigorous studies all day, and then they're not going home after school and
No,
and
some
camping.
have part-time jobs. They work at the Dunkin' Donuts. They work at Adams. They work, every place.
So volunteering,
Sure.
working, sports, clubs, activities, musical, band. They're great. It's what it's all about. And I have a lot of hope for the future because of how hard these kids are working and how invested they are in developing themselves.
Sure, absolutely. Now, what's on tap for spring sports so far this year? I mean, for the spring, what's going on? You got
Baseball, softball, tennis,
Yep.
track, a lot of things. The one sport we don't have here in Portland is lacrosse.
Okay.
But just about everything else is available to the kids either on the Portland High School or the middle school teams, or we do a lot of co-oping.
Okay.
With area schools, and sometimes they co-op with us. But of course, the big one for us, I'm really looking forward to seeing the golfers this year.
Yes. Well, we got a strong team.
Strong team. They are. I don't want to say unstoppable because that would be
Never
jinxing
say
us
never.
and knocking on wood here. But they have some remarkable golfers on that team and an amazing coach.
Yeah.
And they are ones to watch this
Well,
year.
we were state champions last year, weren't we?
Like the last 4 years in a row.
Okay.
They're a juggernaut.
Yeah.
They're a juggernaut.
Well, considering that we live in Portland, where we have 3 golf courses.
Yeah.
We have Chris Cody's
Cody's
indoor
golf,
driving
that's it,
range,
yeah.
outdoor driving range, simulators, the whole 9
Golf
yards.
capital of Connecticut. right
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
I like to go. I make it a point to get out with that team at least once a year, and I just walk along. Like, I just want to watch.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll swing a club every now and then, but just to watch these guys
Sure.
do what they do. The sound the ball makes when it hits their club, it's like a firecracker.
That's
It's,
it.
Remarkable.
Just jumps off the club.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of golf, okay. Obviously, we have our Exchange Club golf tournament coming up, and we have our Town Tech booth out on the 4th hole that we
good.
collect for our Jason Fidesz scholarship. So I hope you guys can put a foursome together.
I would love to.
Okay, on the it's May 2nd.
May 2nd,
which
okay.
is it's going to be on a Thursday this year. It's normally on a Friday, but it's going to be on a Thursday this year. So hopefully you can muster up a foursome because we're going to challenge you.
All right, you don't have to twist my arm. That sounds great. I'd love to get a group out there.
So anyway, but that's excellent. I think the other thing too. Now I heard rumors now. Every now and then is there a pickleball court in the works, or is was there talk about that?
Yeah,
or
so
something?
that's a good point. So the tennis courts at the high school are going to be lined for pickleball. Now, when I say lined, I don't know if they're going to be painted or taped.
Okay.
But either way, they're
Okay.
going to be set up for pickleball, and then we're going to get these nets that you can just move.
Portable nets.
Portable nets.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
That's in the works.
Okay,
That
cool.
is in the works. So come on up, play some pickleball, take a walk on the new track.
Yes.
It's a great community asset, great resource. The only thing is we ask people not to use it during the school day.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if we have practices going on out there, wait till those are over. But weekends, evenings, come on over and get some exercise in.
Well, typically I take advantage of the track every morning at 5 o'clock and do my
I've
mile
heard.
up there and so forth. And it was windy up there this morning.
Man, yeah,
and
good day
it
to
was,
fly a kite.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. So, what else is now? We now have. Is there a facilities committee now, which kind of spawned off the facility study? How did that work?
Yeah, so several things are in the works now. On the town side, there is a committee that is formed that is Municipal Land Use Committee, its title is. And they've been tasked with, figuring out if and hopefully maybe when Gildersleeve and Brownstone were to be decommissioned as schools,
Yep.
what would they become?
Okay.
Right. And I attended their first meeting the other day, and exactly what you would expect to happen, which was ideas popping, like requests for information. I know they went on a tour of the buildings. They're looking at the site study analysis, both of them that we had done.
Yep.
But there are so many potential opportunities for that. Now, that's certainly not my lane. That's a lane for the town to have to consider. But, we know that before any ask of the community in terms of bonding for facilities, the community would want to know what would happen to those.
Yeah.
So that work is underway. On my side of the equation, I have in my possession now a blocking diagram
Okay.
of what a pre-K 5 Valley View would look like.
Okay.
We're doing traffic studies. Well, I should say this. We're not doing a formal traffic study, but we have lots of questions about traffic patterns and schedules and lunches and how the building would work ergonomically, logistically, practically.
Yep.
And out of that blocking diagram and a 3D model we're going to get from Fryer Architects,
Okay.
a lot of those questions are going to be answered. Literally just by looking at the blocking diagram, you can see how the architects have considered those questions that we know are out there.
Okay.
In addition to that, I have a team of educators here visiting other pre-K 5 schools that are the same size as Valley Views would be.
Okay.
Right. And the goal of that sort of data gathering or research process is to collect things like their staffing profiles, their schedules, how they run their specials, how the building works. My hope is that as soon as we have the blocking diagram, the 3D model, feedback from the committee that's gone out and visited schools similar in size to what a pre-K 5 Valley View would be, and the most important piece of data, which we're still waiting for, which is how much.
Right.
Right. How much it would cost 49% of the total for the town of Portland, and then the 51% from the state.
Right.
Once all of that is together, you can expect I'll be having a big reveal. Right.
Okay.
There'll be likely a presentation for the community,
Okay.
a presentation for the Board of Education, and I may even run some more focus groups
Okay.
to invite people in to discuss it and
Okay.
ask questions, raise concerns.
Mm-hmm.
That I expect will have all of that data information, I'm hopeful, sometime around the beginning of April. So
Okay.
2-3 weeks from right
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
So we can spend April and May sharing the information with the community and getting feedback.
Okay.
The Board of Education would be obligated to vote to approve what's called the Education Specifications Plan,
Okay.
which is all of that,
Mhm.
right? And then, of course, the Board of Selectmen would need to authorize a bonding referendum.
Correct.
The hard deadline that we have is that by June 30th of this year, if the community is still in favor of this, I have to submit by June 30th an application to the state of Connecticut
Yep.
to ask for the 51% reimbursement.
Okay.
If we missed that June 30th deadline this year,
Yeah.
we'd have to wait till June 30th next year.
Next year. Yeah.
So the way it would line up would be April, May, share with the community all of the information we have. June 30th, submit that a grant application to the state to get the 51% reimbursement.
Okay.
November, bonding referendum.
Okay.
And then we'd learn by December if the bonding referendum passed and we had the state grant money in place, we would then be in position to spend from December of next year on, and then all of the year after, we're working with architects, hiring construction companies, and getting ready so that the year after that,
Okay.
right, sort of not next year, not the year after, but the year after that, then we'd be ready to move some students around and start in earnest with a construction project.
Now the criteria for the state funding now would have to be you have to renovate as new. Is that how that criteria goes? Now the scenario goes if we and again according to the studies, we would be decommissioning Gildersleeve, correct?
And Brownstone.
And Brownstone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what the question you just asked there is so important for people to hear, right? Is that why are you considering this? Well, part of the answer is, well, there's a tremendous academic value in having all of our kids in one building, teaching and learning wise. It makes sense.
Yep.
But fiscally, it makes sense.
Sure.
This is a win-win.
Yeah.
Because it is so expensive to run 3 schools.
Oh, absolutely.
You need all the staffing and overhead to run 3
administrative
schools.
staff, the custodial staff, everything else.
Yeah. And in addition, we know that Valley View, Brownstone, and Gildersleeve need somewhere in the order of $7 to $9 million each because they're falling apart.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody doesn't believe me that they're falling apart, give me a call and I'll give you a tour.
Yeah.
If you were to say, let's round up and say 8, 9 million, right? So somewhere in the neighborhood of 21 to 27 million dollars is how much each of those schools need over the next 10 years to keep going. Like, just
yes.
they're struggling.
Keep their head above water, so to speak.
If the town were to do that, that's all capital improvements and subject to very little state reimbursement.
Right.
Somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 million for roofs and ADA compliance things is what we'd get from the state. So all of it would be on the property taxpayers.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why the renovate to new and add new to Valley View makes sense, because then you're essentially doubling your money with state reimbursement.
Right.
And once you build new, hey, you're set for 20, 25 years.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's the thing. Look to the high school.
Yeah, exactly.
A high school, middle school opened in 2004.
Okay.
20 years later, now we're starting to see some wear and need to do some work on it.
Sure, yeah.
But for 20 years, that's a pretty good ROI.
Yeah.
That's a good return on your investment.
Exactly.
You didn't have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to keep it going once it's new. It's like you get a new car. It's under warranty.
Yeah, exactly. Right? You get that 100,000-mile guarantee or warranty.
So part of what anybody who's listening to me, and I hope people would invest the time to listen to these podcasts or get the information, who might be out there crabbing that we can't afford this, it's too expensive. My answer is simple. You can't afford not to.
Yeah.
If you're really concerned, if you're not concerned about the quality of education, fine. You may not have kids. You may not care about public education. You may not even think public education is necessary. Whatever.
Yeah.
If you're only concerned about the dollars and cents and the impact on your mill rate, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So anybody on Facebook out there crabbing that this is too expensive, give me a call.
Yeah.
And educate yourself. And let me explain to you why this is the most cost-effective thing to do for the long run, because you're getting a product that will be lasting for a long time, and you're saving over 20 years many millions of dollars in staffing and overhead costs by reducing schools.
Sure.
It's a no-brainer, man.
Well, not to mention, you mentioned that 2004, that's when the high school, middle school, since 2004, you look at the amount of students that have gone through that school. We've gone through COVID. I mean, not to mention a lot of the HVAC requirements that are required now post-COVID. I mean, those things cost money. When you have to improve the number of air turns in the rooms and so forth. I mean, it costs money.
It's pathetic right now, Dave. Our only HVAC in 3 of our schools is an open window with a fan in them.
Yeah.
Anybody who thinks that that's acceptable has lost their mind. How hot does it get in this world now? You are not living in reality.
No.
If you think that because that was okay when I was there, it should be okay now. Times are different now.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the other thing I just want to mention, I know there are a lot of people in the community who are concerned about kids and teaching and learning, not so much the dollars and cents, although everybody shares that concern.
Yep.
But one group of people out there that I hear you loud and clear is concerned about, how does a pre-K-5 school, a large school, work? I'm worried about lunch waves, how kids move through buildings. Is it appropriate to have 5th graders and kindergartners in the same room? How much traffic is there going to be? Just keep an open mind.
Sure.
Just listen.
Well, we ran through that scenario when we combined the middle school and the high school.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you. I'm not going to ask you to think hypothetically about this. Over the coming weeks, you will see the schedules. You will see the renderings. Just keep an open mind.
Yeah.
And trust me when I tell you this. There are many, 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 many school districts in Connecticut that have pre-K-5 schools and are highly successful.
Sure.
Now, you don't have to take me at my word. I'll show you. I'm gonna lay it out there for everybody. And I'm hopeful that if people go into this and listen with open minds and open hearts,
Yep.
it will address many of the concerns about a large school, and it will address many of the concerns about affordability.
Sure.
And hey, you don't have to agree with me. Just I'll hear your concerns. You hear what I show you, and ultimately, at the end of the day, Board of Education have to take a position. Board of Selectmen have to take a position. And the nicest thing, the thing we love about democracy, which is why we will defend it with our lives, right?
Yes.
Is that at some point, the voters of Portland will
Make
get to
the
weigh in.
decision.
They get, you will, it's not, this isn't a Charles Britton decision.
Yeah.
This is a town of Portland decision.
Exactly.
And I will give all of the information as transparently and honestly as I can.
Yep.
And then people will get to vote,
Sure.
right? And hopefully that opportunity to vote will never be taken away from us by any crackpots out there.
Well, exactly. And that's what this country's built on.
That's
the
what it's
American
built on. And that's what
democracy.
made January 6th so terrifying.
Yes. And unfortunately, that's it. That's in the past, and hopefully it stays in the past.
It stays in the past. That's our obligation.
But there's still people out there that say that it wasn't an insurrection. But,
they are unpatriotic.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but that's great. Now, the town survey is done. I think we did the site survey. That's done. That's been completed. The town survey has coordinated with that as far as that goes. And from what we had on the town survey, there was pretty significant numbers on return on investment on doing the survey.
Right, and look at that, and it's from that survey that we've heard loud and clear. What do people want before they're comfortable with this?
Yeah.
They want to, know what would happen to decommissioned schools.
Yeah.
What would happen to Gildersleeve and Brownstone if they're decommissioned?
Mm-hmm.
B, they want to know, how does a pre-K-5 school work? We like small schools. It's a small town. We want our kids loved and safe.
Yeah.
How would you create a sense of community in a larger school? And then C, how much is it going to cost? And why is this the most cost-effective thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three things we've heard. The loud and clear, message received.
Yep.
We're working on those, and we'll have responses. We'll share that information with people. And then people can render their own decision and vote their conscience come November.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, if we end up with a new school because that's what the town wants, wonderful.
Yeah.
If not, we will tack. We will adjust. We are sensitive to the will of the voters.
Sure.
That's, again, what makes this such a unique and important process.
Absolutely. Fantastic. All right. Anything else that we need to?
That's it, Dave.
Well, Charles, I want to, on the record, I want to thank you and the whole Board of Education for participating and
retirement party.
My retirement party was
Packed house, Dave.
It was. We had over 150 people there. And I was overwhelmed. The amount of love that was in the room and so forth was unbelievable. And I appreciate you coming out and sharing the night with me. It was awesome.
It was our pleasure. Great to hear about you and see all the friendships you've made. The venue and the food was terrific, and it was a memorable night.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. The ones that I'll always cherish for sure. So anyway, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, that, I think, concludes this episode of the Town of Portland Board of Education podcast. We are again live here in our New Digs, our Connecticut Valley School of Music podcast studio at Connecticut Valley School of Music. And Charles, thank you so much. And we'll catch you a couple, 4 weeks down the road, and we'll do another one.
We gotta do this. When we do it in April, I'll be able to talk about all the things with I won't even be able to talk about. I'll be able to show. So I'm glad we're have some visuals here. Hopefully, I can.
Fantastic.
We can do this in a forum where people aren't just hearing my voice or seeing my face, but actually seeing what a pre-K-5 Valley View might look.
There you go. All right. Charles, thanks so much.
Thanks, Dave.
And again, thank you, listeners, and stay tuned for our next episode of the Town of Portland Board of Education podcast with our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Charles Britton. So thank you, Charles.
Thanks, Dave.
Alrighty. That is all.